Princeton, past and present.
O Princeton, old Nassau, present present eyes with nostalgic awe. What shall we see among the tigers, among the pack? Going back, going back, going back.
Back for class reunions, year after year. Why do Princeton men keep coming back? What is it that keeps this loyalty alive? It's not just for good fellowship that they return, nor is it simply to revisit the old familiar places. It's not for the quiet dignity of the famous campus, nor for the architectural beauty of its buildings. Yet each vista conjures up a chain of memories.
A chain of memories unchained, forsaken histories unclaimed. Look around with care. We dare not bear the history in despair. What about the women of Princeton? Let's continue.
As the President of the United States crossed the campus in New Jersey that afternoon, he was accompanied by a predecessor and surrounded by the leaders of the nation. These men, statesmen, warriors, scientists, had just led a world to victory over the enemies of truth. How fitting that part of their victory celebration should be a tribute to an institution celebrating 2 centuries of devotion to that truth. It was a procession where men of action walked side by side with men of learning in the realization that only by working together could they make sure that peace would bring happiness to the peoples who had fought for it. Men of learning. The line was long, for behind the leaders came the men who had trained some of them for leadership. The Princeton faculty, the teachers, the first part of that unique combination that makes Princeton.
What about the
students? They make up the second half of the combination. At Princeton, this half is rich in variety. Every section of the country and many foreign lands are represented. They come from every social group, every religion, from high schools and prep schools. They have been selected carefully for the promise of such giving.
Very carefully they were selected. Some students don't know. Some students don't care. Some students let it go. Yet
most students are interested in the changing face of the ageless campus. Behind their traditional facades, the new buildings reflect a modern spirit. The new library is the last word in the functional use of space, equipment, and material. It makes books more accessible and provides a better setting for study and relaxed reading. These halls may be a preview of how Princeton will look in her 3rd century.
what does it mean to be a truth seeker? What does it mean to be a Princetonian? What does it mean to be an undergraduate? What did it mean to be an
undergraduate? At Princeton, it means a man, not a boy. It means someone who is held responsible and someone who is respected. Perhaps of all Princeton institutions, the one most symbolic of the relationship between teacher and student is the honor system. In lieu of being supervised by a proctor, the student writes on every examination paper, "I pledge my honor as a gentleman that during this examination I have neither given nor received assistance."
I pledge my honor that I have not violated the honor code during this examination. That is a promise you make on each and every test you take. Take a minute to sign that honor pledge.
With honor comes freedom, and
Perhaps it was here that they first learned the principles of freedom for which they later fought. For there has been a close connection between America's history and Princeton's history. 3 signatures beneath the Declaration of Independence indicate Princeton's part in the making of that historic manifesto. They include John Witherspoon's, the college's president during the Revolution.
I do not think there lies any necessity on those who found men in a state of slavery to make them free to their own ruin. John Witherspoon.
On the steps of the sundial, sacred to members of the senior class, is a group of young men who will soon be leaving Princeton. Let's stop and meet them. Richard Arkwright is from the Middle West.
Michael Isak is from California.
Michael Salter is from Texas.
Tijani Desiree is from New York.
George Parker Hammond came from a Boston family.
Juliana Vasquez is from Florida.
William Ackland Brown's home is Baltimore.
Alea is from Jamaica. Like many other American artifacts, Princeton has a plagued history. To reckon with the future is to understand our past, to fully reconcile with the past. One day we may realize it. Will it happen? I have a feeling we're getting there. Or perhaps we already are. Or hopefully tomorrow. Or maybe the day after. And the day after that? Well,
The day after, we showed our parents the new chapel. We can still remember the pride we felt in acting as guides to them.
we'll be guides to Princeton, past and present. Guides to the best old place of all. And we'll tell them at the top of our lungs.
Welcome to Princeton.